Hi and welcome, my name is David. I have been an HP Spectre X360 owner for the last 2 years, and since I now changed device to the Huawei Matebook X Pro, I felt the performance comparison between the two devices could be interesting. The comparison will be done by executing 3 tests from 3D Mark. The two devices differ in several ways, and for this test mainly due to the Thunderbolt 3 configuration. The HP Spectre have 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports, both utilizing 4 PCIe lanes, while the Matebook X Pro also have 4 PCIe lanes, with 2 goes to the dedicated NVIDIA MX150 card and 2 to the Thunderbolt 3 port. This makes this test very interesting. Please subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up if you like this video. The first test is Time Spy from 3D Mark, and like the next two, this test will focus on graphics and CPU performance. So let's get started. So I will run this test on the Huawei Matebook X Pro, and the test is divided into 3 parts. It's 2 graphic tests, and the last one is a physics/CPU test. Zooming in on the frames per second count, you can see that quite good actually, almost up to 40 frames per second. So we are close to the end of the first test, as you can see. So the next one is the second graphic test. Let's check out how it performs. So these tests are probably quite boring, so I will fast forward to the end of this sequence. So we are almost at the end, and these 2 tests is more or less pure graphics. So this last one is CPU intensive physics test. So we are almost at the end, and we will check out the results. So it will be very interesting to see the scores. You can see it's 5,343. That is the total score, and you can see the graphics score is 6,252 and the CPU score is 2,931. And below you can see the 3 graphic cards. The MX150 is not used. Here you can see the CPU temperatures. It's very good and low temperatures on the CPU. I'm very surprised over this result. The frames per second varies, of course, during this test, especially if you look at the last part, the CPU and physics test. CPU frequency is hovering around the max value of i7 8550U, and the base frequency never drops under 2.2 GHz. So let's move on to the HP Spectre X360. So the setup is much alike. It's the same CPU in both laptops, and the GPU is a GTX 1080. So let's run the test on the HP Spectre X360 and see what results we get. It will be very interesting to see the results of this, because the HP Spectre X360 is supposed to have 4 PCIe lanes, so it can transport more data over the Thunderbolt 3 port. The Matebook X Pro, on the other hand, is only supposed to have 2 PCIe lanes for the Thunderbolt 3 port. So this is the last test, physics CPU test, and then we are done for this test, and we can check out the results. So we can see the total score, and you can see the separate scores below. And you can see that the Huawei Matebook X Pro scores much better in all departments. So let's move on and check out the temperatures and the CPU frequency. So you can see the CPU temperatures on the HP Spectre X360. It's 85 degrees Celsius as max, while the Matebook X Pro had 77 degrees as its maximum temperature. And here you can see the CPU frequency is also quite good on the HP Spectre, also a little bit lower on the base clock frequency. So back to the Huawei Matebook X Pro, and the next test, it's Firestrike, and it's also divided in 4 parts, I think. 2 CPU tests and 1 combined test and 1 physics test. So I will fast forward this one also. So time for graphic test number 2. So you can see here it's the second graphic test, and I will fast forward this one also. It's quite cool graphics in this test. I really find them amusing. And here we have the physics test. And we are done with that one, and this is the combined test. It's both GPU and CPU intensive. And we will probably see that in the results. So, done. The Matebook X Pro scores 11,219 on this Firestrike test. And you can see the separate scores in the text. And I'm most interested in the CPU temperatures, and you can see here maximum 73 degrees Celsius. And the next one that I'm interested in this is the CPU frequency, and you can see 3.7 GHz and the low at 2.4 GHz. Quite good results, not as good as on the first test. So let's run the same test on the HP Spectre together with the eGPU Razer core, and I just fast forward and you can probably see the frame rates, but it's not an ideal situation. So just fast forwarding this test also. It's yeah, not so interesting. And here we have the physics test. And lastly we will have the combined test. And here we have the results. You can see the Huawei Matebook X Pro scores better in all of the tests. So let's check out the temperatures, because I'm most interested in that part. And here you can see the temperatures is up to 90 degrees Celsius, which is very hot for a CPU. So let's move on to the last test. It's CloudGate, also from 3D Mark. I will start to run this on the Huawei Matebook X Pro. And if the trend continues, I guess the Matebook X Pro will win all categories. But this one I'm a little bit unsure of, because this is another type of graphic test. And maybe the HP Spectre X360 can win this test. This test also contains 2 graphic tests, and the last one, as you can see now, is the physics test, or the CPU test. So we will have a result, and you can see the scores, and yeah, let's check out the temperatures and the CPU frequencies. Here's the GPU, and this is the CPU temperatures, and this is the Huawei Matebook X Pro. So it's 72 degrees as maximum. Quite impressive, I must say. And here we have the CPU frequency, 3.7 GHz at turbo boost and 7.2 GHz on the base clock. And now over to the HP Spectre X360 and run the same test on this device. Starting up the first graphic test, and we will run it through quite fast. So this is the second test, and after that is the last sequence. Thankfully it's the last one, the physics slash CPU test, and then we will have the results and the total scores between these two devices. And here you can see a strange thing. The HP Spectre X360 have better graphic scores, 86,441. And I have no explanation for this strange behavior. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I would appreciate if you can subscribe to my channel, because I really need to get to 1,000 subscribers. That is a nice goal for me, and if you have questions, please leave them in the comment section below, and see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.